Okay, so I'm Melissa Johnson. Thank you for sticking out for the last hour of this probably amazing day for everybody. So thank you for that. I am a real estate investor in San Antonio, Texas. I've been doing real estate since 2003. So about 18 years in the industry, doing lots of flips, like rehabbing, wholesaling, wholetailing, rental properties, and creating owner finance notes. Those are my areas of specialty. So I've been doing that for a really long time. And I want to talk to you today about analyzing your marketing and just talk about a lot of things with marketing, because I feel like this is such a critical part of our business. You know, we spend a lot of money on marketing. So I'm just going to kind of jump right in and talk about why marketing is important. So first of all, it's our biggest business expense. You know, if you look at all of your expenses, like your overhead in your business, I can almost guarantee you that the bulk of that should be spent in marketing. I know that's where a lot of my money goes. It's important because it's how we attract motivated sellers and buyers. It allows you to show credibility. So having that places where people can find you, online, they can get to know you through your marketing, different marketing channels and things. If you are Better Business Bureau certified, or a member of that, just testimonials, like all those things go into your marketing and shows your credibility, and it helps you build your brand. And we've spent a lot of time crafting all of our marketing things, and I've learned a lot over the years. So I want to share with you some things that I've learned over that time. So just real quick, I kind of want to just give a little bit of an overview on marketing, because it's something I'm really passionate about. I really enjoy and love doing, love talking about marketing. I love analyzing marketing. So the first thing is you have to craft the perfect message, obviously. So you want to create and raise brand awareness. You want to have targeted messaging. And I really go pretty deep with the targeted messaging, because I'm a firm believer in, we used to spend like tons and tons of money on just shotgun blasting out stuff, oh, it's high equity, and we'll just send a bunch of postcards out and a bunch of letters and not really being focused. And so what I found is that you end up spending a ton of money and time and effort and energy and to marketing to people that aren't even really interested in selling their house. And so I really wanted to dig deeper in that and kind of go in and create some avatars for people that are in different situations. So like, you got your probate people, you've got your tired landlords, you've got your like out of state or out of town owners, absentee owners for whatever reason. I'm in San Antonio. We have a lot of military people. So we get a lot of people that come here. They're here, stationed here for a couple of years. They buy a house. They end up getting, shipped off somewhere else. And so they've got to sell their property. So that's kind of a demographic for us here. So really know who you're targeting and being thoughtful with your messaging that really speaks to the situation that they're in has been very powerful for us. Also having a targeted area that you're focused in, that could be, by zip code, it could be by a neighborhood, different things like that. So that's something to think about when you're creating your message. What area are you trying to do deals in? Also feel it's really important, like I said before, to include credibility, because there's so many investors out there, especially right now. There's a lot of us out there doing this. And so how can you set yourself apart from everybody else that's doing this? So ways that I like to do that is through testimonials. We always get testimonials. They're so important to your business. If you're not getting testimonials, I really encourage you and challenge you to go out and get those, because they make a huge difference. When you're looking at 50 different people that are doing the same thing and they have no testimonials and you've got a ton of them, they're always going to go with you. When we've heard this time and time again, we read your testimonials and we felt comfortable doing business with you. Better Business Bureau is another great way to include credibility in all of your marketing pieces. And then just reviews from other people too. So not just testimonials, but reviews from people that you do business with. So like title companies, loan companies, that you're doing deals with, mortgage companies, realtors, just anybody else that you're working with can be really helpful. I also encourage people when they're doing their marketing to make it personal. Put your face on it if you're comfortable. We always had like a family picture on the front of our website, and people really liked that. They felt connected to you versus working with a company. Even though we are a company, still just having a face for people to see and relate to. And it's just different when you can see somebody's face versus just, reading, about some company. When you can put a face to it, it really makes it personal, and people really appreciate that. And then you also want to make sure in your marketing that you've got clear calls to action. So something that is going to really prompt them to pick up the phone and call you, or to fill out that web form, or to reply to your text. So you want to have very clear calls to action in all of your marketing. So one question I get asked a lot too is, I'm just getting started. What should I do for marketing? So I kind of rounded up a little quick list of different channels that I found to be the best when you're getting started, because there's a very low barrier to entry. Like, you can just do these things. They don't cost a lot of money, but they can be very effective if they're done right. So you want to make sure that you're doing a couple of these different things. So like driving for dollars is a big one. Putting ads on Craigslist, door knocking, if you're comfortable doing that. We've done that a lot. Putting up door hangers. And I like to combine some of these things too. So sometimes we'll door knock and put door hangers out while we're driving for dollars. So it's like 3 things for all 3 in one. Networking is another great, easy way to just, networking with wholesalers. If you're a flipper, or if you're getting into wholesaling, just networking with people that are doing what we do. Cold calling is another one. Referrals. And I can tell you, referrals have been huge for my business, and they're great. Nothing is better than somebody else marketing for you, for them telling other people about how great their experience was with you. In fact, the rehab that I just started today, actually, my contractor got started, and that was a referral. And it was from a woman that has referred like 3 people to us already, because they were just so happy with the service. And so they just keep telling all these people that they know. And so we've just been getting deals, very easily just from referrals. A website is a great thing to have when getting started. And I encourage everyone to get a website, only because everybody's online now for the most part. And when people are searching for you, if you don't come up anywhere, that makes people think now that you're not credible. Even if you are, if you don't have a web presence, at least something out there, people want to do their research now. I've noticed sellers have gotten way more savvy over, since the time when I got started versus now. They do their research. They want to know who you are. When you send them that piece of mail, they're checking on you. They want to know if, who you are and how long you've been in business and what's your company all about. So they're checking. So if you have a website, I think that gives you a leg up on that. And then flyers is just another cheap, easy way to, attract sellers. You can leave those at, I don't know, laundromats or check cashing places, anywhere where somebody that might be facing some kind of hardship that might need to sell their house might be hanging around. And then if you're a mid-level investor, if you've been doing this for a little while, I think bandit signs, printed nice bandit signs are always good. You can start running Facebook ad campaigns, and then direct mail campaigns are great for mid-level investors. And then for the really established investors, I separate these out because as you do more deals, you have more money to spend on your marketing. So you want to be smart about how you're doing it. So you don't want to just jump right in and start doing SEO and AdWords, like these things for more established investors, because these require a time and money investment that a lot of people aren't able to make when they're first getting started in real estate. So doing AdWords, like pay-per-click, SEO, search is another great way to boost some of that marketing efforts. Billboards we've used in the past and have been effective, and then radio and TV ads also. So, why is tracking your marketing important? Well, one is you want to see how your stuff is performing. You wouldn't just do something and then just do it indefinitely and like never check in and see how it was going, right? So you want to make sure that you're documenting and you're seeing how each channel that you're using is performing. You also want to see the return on investment. If you spend X amount of dollars, how many dollars did that generate? That's very important. It also allows you to find out where you need to make adjustments in your marketing. You know, you don't just, marketing is not a set it and forget it thing. Marketing is a constant, it's like an ever evolving thing. You have to constantly be testing and measuring. And that's why I have on here split test results. You know, you want to, you know, if you're doing a direct mail campaign, you're not going to just keep sending the same piece of mail over and over and over again. You want to try to mix that up. You know, you want to see what's working. But you've got to be tracking that in order to even see how that's going. So the tracking is the piece that is missing, I think, a lot of times. People are doing a lot of marketing, but they're not ever really going back and analyzing the results of those efforts. And that's so important. And I'll tell you why in a minute, because I went through this exercise myself a few years ago, and it honestly like blew me away what was actually happening. Because you're thinking it's going one way, but when you actually put numbers to all this and you start looking at it, a lot of times you'll start to see that that's really not what I thought that was. It's not going as well as maybe I thought it was going to go. So it's very, very important. So one of the ways I track my marketing is through phone numbers. So I use CallRail. It's great. I've used it for years and years, and I love it. And so you can see on the screen here that I've got all the different phone numbers for all of my different marketing channels. And then I've got my, sequence of how they go. But the great thing is that when anybody calls in on any of these phone numbers, I know immediately where they came from. I don't have to try to guess where they came from. So I really encourage you, like I love this breakdown because I can see really easily, okay, that person came from our acquisitions number, or this person came from our website, or they were from a door hanger. So that's going to be the first piece in being able to track and analyze what I'm doing with my marketing. So it's a very important piece of the puzzle here. This is the meat of the presentation. So I'm going to spend a lot of time on this screen because this was the eye-opening moment for me. I hired a business coach several years ago, and things were going well in the business, but I thought they could be better. And I'm always about having coaching and mentoring. I just think it makes a huge difference. And so we started talking, and he said, well, have you analyzed your marketing? And I said, no. Should I be? I didn't know, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so he said, well, I think you really need to take a look at your marketing. I said, okay. So went through and I created the spreadsheet for myself based on our conversation because I wanted to know how things were performing. And so what I did was on Source Channel, I started plugging in all of the channels that we were using for marketing. And then he said, okay, now I want you to break down your leads. So I went through our CRM system and I figured out how many leads came in for that entire period. So since this was the first time I had done this, I did a whole year at one time. So I went through and I determined that we had got 720 leads. And now he said, now you need to break those down. And so I started breaking all this down into the suspects and the prospects and the marketing qualified leads. So what that means is your suspect leads are any lead that comes in. It doesn't matter if it's a good lead or if it's a bad lead, it's still a lead. Even if it's take me off your list, it's still somebody called you from that. So you did reach them. So that's just a suspect. So then I broke that down into, you know, where did they come from? Now, a prospect for me became somebody that we had some interaction with. So there was some back and forth with them. Maybe we set an appointment, maybe we didn't, maybe they just wanted some more information, but we definitely had some kind of conversation. So it wasn't like a spam call or you know, an out of state thing or something. It was definitely like a definite prospect here. So you can see like the numbers start going down, right? So just for example, like the first line, the high equity, we started at 121. Out of that 121, 115 of those were determined to be prospects. Then to take it a step further, we figured out, well, okay, is this a qualified lead? So qualified lead for me is something we would set an appointment for, regardless if we actually set the appointment or not, or went on the appointment or not. That was a lead of a property that I would definitely want to buy. So out of those, you know, suspect 121, we got down to 115 prospect. Out of that 115, 91 of those were actually qualified. Then we figured out how many deals did we actually get from that channel. So of those 91, how many of those became an actual deal? Like we got a contract on it. So that was very important to see kind of like how that process starts to filter down, right? Then I had to take it like 10 steps further than the coach actually told me to do, because once I started getting into this, I was really curious to see, you know, how this whole thing was going to play out. So I did these calculations where I wanted to know, okay, conversion rate from a suspect to a qualified lead. So we did that calculation. So you can see that was 75.21% conversion rate from a suspect to a good lead. From the good lead to an actual contract, we were converting at 14.29% for that marketing channel. So not too bad. Then I figured out how much did I spend for the whole year on that marketing channel. And you can see that's a big number. I spent $72,000 just on high equity mailings. So when you break that down, that left me at a cost per lead of $793.63. And then if you break that into a cost per deal, it actually costed me $5,555.41. So what seemed to be a pretty decent marketing channel, right? Because 13 deals, that's not bad. But look how much money I had to spend to get that deal. That's a lot of money, cost per lead, cost per deal. It's pretty high. Then I wanted to figure out, well, how much money did I actually make? Like, what was my average profit for that whole source? So I did another sheet where I just broke down all my profits by the source channels too. I plugged in each deal and figured out what was the net profit for all those. And then I averaged them all together. So my average profit for that source was only $16,994. And I had an attrition rate of 4 of those contracts actually fell out. So of those 13 deals that we got, 4 of them never made it to the closing table. That's what attrition is. Attrition is your fallout. So I'm rocking and rolling along thinking, oh, the high equity is like kicking butt here. And come to find out, like, it's really not that great. So if you start looking at all these other ones, you could see the probates, you know, probates look pretty good. 42, they were all prospects because we were direct marketing to those probate people. It wasn't a shotgun approach. It was a very targeted approach. 31 of those good deals. We got 4 deals out of that. We converted, you know, 12.9%, but my cost per lead was $227.98. Cost per deal, $1,700. That looks way better to me than $5,000. I think everyone would agree on that. And then AdWords, like we got a ton of deals off of AdWords. We got 161 leads from that, 70 good ones, 9 deals we did, but the fallout rate was a lot less than the high equity. And what we found was that when we were doing AdWords, when people come to you from your website, they're actually they're way more motivated because they're looking for you. They're actively searching for you. So those leads are actually better, more qualified leads. And that came as a result of looking at this spreadsheet altogether too. So you could see like my cost per lead for the AdWords was $657. It's not too bad. It's a higher cost per deal because we didn't do quite as many deals. Profit was still good. But by far, you can see the best spend of my money was organic. And organic for me means my website. It was just organic traffic to the website. This was not no paid advertising or anything like that. This is just people coming to the website, me driving traffic through SEO, and also putting my website on everything. Like everything we do goes on the website. And highest leads, 280 leads, 193 prospects, 106 were qualified. We did 20 deals off of our website at a cost per lead of $133.15. That's pretty good. And the profit on those deals was average profit was $20,473, and we had a low fallout. So you can see that when you look at this whole thing as a snapshot, how powerful this actually is when you look at it. So you could see thinking that, oh, some of these, it's not that bad or whatever. We didn't spend that much, or, maybe we spent too much. I don't know. But you can really see when you put it all together like this, just exactly how good it is of a job that you're doing on your marketing. It's really, really powerful. And so I kind of sat with this for a while and just like, this is like really, really interesting. Now, what am I going to do with all this, right? So what do you do with your analysis? Well, I use the info to make data-driven decisions. I'm a big believer in that. I try not to make a lot of decisions just emotionally because that's easy to do. But when you've got data to back something up, it's really powerful. It makes you make better decisions. You want to make more informed decisions. And again, we're spending a lot of money here, right? So you want to make sure that the money that you're spending is actually having some kind of return to it. So this told me that, one, there are things that I need to cut. And there's a lot of opportunity to cut things once you're looking at this. You're thinking something's working, but it's not. And so maybe it's just time to cut that marketing channel. And this is great, especially if you do this over a couple of years and you realize you've been doing something for a while. Maybe it's just time to turn that marketing channel off for a while. Or you can reallocate, which is kind of what I did. I started moving some of that direct mail stuff more into my online stuff because the online was performing so much better. It's like, why am I spending all this money shotgunning out to this high equity list when I can reallocate some of that 72,000 or whatever it was, 75 or 72,000. I can reallocate some of those funds to a marketing channel that's actually producing results and it's actually performing at a much higher level than what's currently going on. And I was also able to figure out where I could scale. So probate's a great example. Probate, that was a low cost per lead, low cost per deal. And so that's something that I decided I wanted to scale that up. I can spend more money. I can mail more, do more mailings. I can do more with the probates because that will be money well spent. And I know how much I've spent. Now I can scale that up and do more. And then always just understanding the test and measure thing. If you're not sure about something, if it looks like it's working, and then you look at your overall thing here, and then you realize, well, maybe it could be a couple of different things. Like it could be, maybe your message wasn't that great for your direct mail campaigns. Maybe that's something you need to test that, change your message, change your marketing piece, and really test that out and see if it performs any better. And then measure everything too. So put the numbers behind it, look at what you're doing. So some resources that I am a big fan of and have used for myself, for my own business, for marketing and working with all of this is I use the CallRail for the phone tracking. I use PropStream for list management and data management. I have a Carrot website, Lead Farmers for PPC, that's AdWords. Yellow Letters HQ is really great for direct mail. So if you're doing direct mail campaigns, I like to use them just because it's easy. They handle all, like it's a lot. When you start doing big mailings, it's a lot to manage. So it's nice to have somebody that can manage that stuff for you. And then a couple of books that have really helped me with marketing too is the Building a Story Brand book by Donald Miller is fantastic. And This is Marketing by Seth Godin is also a really great marketing book. So that is my talk on marketing. This is how you can reach me. I have a website, themelissajohnson.com. On Instagram, I have a lot of content there, Facebook, and then my email address. And I did want to extend the offer that if anyone wants to use that marketing tracking sheet that I'm using, if you'll send me a message through my website, I'll be happy to send that and share that with everybody.
Awesome. I'm jumping on. Keep your slide up for just a second so everybody can kind of see your email.
Yeah.
Just in case, but so because I know a lot of people are going to want that marketing sheet. This is like my favorite type of a presentation. It's all like spreadsheets and data.
Data's so great. It's such a powerful thing. You know, you don't realize it until you don't, like, I just feel like I keep saying, but it's so true. Like you just don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And once you lay all that stuff out, it's like, wow, did not see it that way at all.
I know it's the truth is in the numbers.
It really is.
It really is. All my team, everybody, we got lots of spreadsheets, and everybody's like, you just do. And if you're on my team, Christy's here. She knows. I call it my master sheet.
Yeah.
Where's my master? I'd like to know my marketing master sheet. They're just like, they say, Stacey, you have way too many sheets, but you have to look at your numbers. So definitely, I think I know it's like it's a lot at the end, but definitely this is something that you should be focusing on, and just do it now and get into the habit of doing it now, right? Like think about what your business would have been like if you would have started looking at your numbers like 18 years ago.
I know. I didn't know. And the thing is too, you can do it a couple of different ways. Like when I did it the first time, I was like, I need all the information, right? So I did the whole year. It took me like a couple of days to wade through all the data, like between my CRM system and going into CallRail. And like, I was just like double checking everything. I wanted to make sure I was as like accurate as possible. But
so tell me how like CallRail works.
So it's just a service basically that like you have all the different phone numbers and they route it like however it needs to go.
And you just basically label them however you want to label it. Because when I saw like the way it's coming up, you're just labeling all those numbers.
Yeah. You can put labels on all those phone numbers.
Okay.
So you just tell them like, I need X amount of phone numbers.
Yeah.
And then they assign the phone numbers to you. And obviously you want them like in your area code and stuff. And then you can assign that phone number to each marketing channel, however you want to do that. And then you set up your call sequences through there also. So like mine rings to the lead manager first, and then it rolls over to a call service. I use Keener.
Okay. So we use because we use Grasshopper because we have like 20 numbers. We're like you, we have a lot of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, so you set it up in CallRail and then it forwards, like it goes through Grasshopper and then our team answers it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same
thing. That is good. I really like that a lot, honestly. I had heard about CallRail, but I never really just paid attention to it. So I'm glad you shared that.
I love CallRail, and I should have thrown another slide in there, but like we use it a lot and their reporting is excellent.
Okay.
Like
I need to do that.
Very good reporting. You can see everything. You can track all the calls. It records the calls so you can listen to them, which is great for training purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like really great. It shows you how many abandoned calls, how many missed calls you've had, which is really important if you have a team and you don't have an answering service. One of the KPIs for your lead manager should be how many live calls are they answering?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So with
Yeah, no,
that,
I love that.
yeah, it's like you can see actually how your team is performing. And I meant to mention that
Yes.
too on the marketing slide, the spreadsheet that I showed. Another indirect kind of result from that I found was that it actually was showing me too how my acquisitions person is performing and how my lead manager is performing. So when you look at that, the MQL, the marketing qualified lead conversion, that speaks directly to the lead manager and their ability to set an appointment. And then the deal conversion rate is showing me how well my acquisitions person is actually converting those deals, those, appointments into actual deals.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I have my sales managers. I have like a whole sheet so I can see their numbers. So, what kind of a coach did you hire to help you put to go through? You said you hired a business coach. What kind of a business coach is it?
He was just a business coach.
Like what? Like what? Just like any business, or how did you find this guy?
Yeah. No, well, my ex-husband was using him.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, I could use some coaching too. We were using him, he was coaching him through our software company. And then I thought, well, I could use a little extra help. I'm sure there's always room for improvement. And so I kind of negotiated a deal with him, actually got him cheaper than he did, which was kind of cool. He's like, he charged you how much? I was like, you should have negotiated better. Always negotiate.
That's awesome. I'm like you. I hired a business coach too, like very early on, and he helped me come up with like a 2-year strategy.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. And actually, he's the one too that, like, when I started talking to my business coach, and it was not like, and he had nothing to do with real estate investing, which is
Yeah,
also
neither did
very
this guy.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes we always hire these coaches that are just like real estate investors, and it's just like you get stuck in this bubble. But it's
Mhm.
good to have these people outside come in and telling you things too.
Yeah, I forget what industry he came from, but it wasn't real estate. But it was great because he had a different perspective that
Yes.
I needed, and especially with the marketing and like a couple of other things, like how to handle like some management stuff, like people on my team and stuff like that. Like I wasn't sure how to handle some things, but when we started, I had a mentor. So I
Mhm.
didn't hire a coach until like way later. And now
Yeah.
I have a different coach now that I use for my coaching business that coaches me on that. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
a
Yeah.
great thing.
Yeah. Once you start getting into this, it's like now I have like so many coaches. I mean, and I'm the type of person, like, I'm like you. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and figure it out. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier. We have a lot on our plates already, right?
Oh, I'm too busy for that right now. Okay. All right. So Fatima says, what call centers do you recommend? Do you have any
Um,
for that?
yeah, so right now I'm using Keener. I think they're called Nexa now. They got bought out. I'm actually kind of having an issue with them right now. So I don't know much longer I'll be with them. I'm having an issue with them and live answering the calls, but it could be an issue. It's actually something we've been working on the last couple of days with them. So it might be something that can be fixed. But up until now, I've had a good experience with them. Pat Live is another one that a lot of people use. I don't have any experience with them, but I've heard good things
Yeah, no,
too.
I've had one of my students use Pat Live, and they said it's just a little expensive.
It can be, but like I use it to supplement the lead manager position.
Yeah.
So if they've got things to do, or like for the weekends and holidays and stuff like that, like it's important to have somebody. Like you should always have somebody answering your phone. You should never let a call go to voicemail ever.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, and I know, like, there's a lot of people in here that are newbies or trying to learn and stuff, but I mean, essentially your ultimate goal is to be delegating everything off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's really doing exactly what she's doing, which is looking at the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Right. Yes, that's your goal. So that's what she's talking about. She's just like, I got my team, they do that, and then I look at the numbers, and that's how it works.
That's right. And then you make your smart decisions based on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, which system do you use to locate probates?
Oh, so that we actually do that ourselves in house. Texas is a non-disclosure state, so getting some information sometimes is really tricky. So it's not like you can go buy a list anywhere, but I caution you on this. Make sure when you're buying the list that there's a real property actually attached, because you can go through all the probates, but not everybody that dies owns property. And so sometimes you end up getting like not a very good list because they're not filtering out to make sure there was actually real property involved with the estate. So you want to make sure that's happening. So what we used to do is we actually had a guy that would go down to the courthouse and he would charge me like $1 per address, and he would actually pull the stuff. And then I don't know, he decided he didn't want to do that anymore. So I asked him, would you mind sharing with me your process of how you're doing this, and try to figure out a way to be able to do that without him and without having to go down to the courthouse. And so we figured that process out ourselves, and we're just doing it on our own now.
I love
But
that.
I know in some states you can buy lists. I feel like every state might be different. So
To buy a probate list, a probate list is not good. Most of the time, it's like unless that
old.
person is doing what is going down there and getting it themselves. Essentially, probate is you got to go to the probate court.
Right. Or you find it online somehow, like we did. But it's a tricky thing. It's like it's not an easy process. I can tell you that. Like it's one of those things we have to do it every day almost, because you get behind. You've got to go through every single case one by one. So you can do it online. But the other thing too, when you're buying the list, sometimes those lists are old.
Yes.
The thing, like when you're going direct to the courthouse, once it gets filed, you're getting like, it's hot off the press kind of thing. It's not like something that's been sitting, on a list somewhere and then they send it out. Sometimes you get that stuff and it's old. And the thing with probates is like time is of the essence.
And then also like in Georgia and where we're at, we have a company that literally that's what they do. Like it's called Law Clerk on Demand. And they just essentially, this person, Deanna, she manages the super group, the Georgia super group for REI USA. And she has a company called Law Clerk on Demand. And this is the reason why she started it really, was because she was like, all these people were trying to get down at the probate. So she hires just people to go down to like any probate court within the state of Georgia, and then she'll pull the list and then she'll sell them. And I'm sure in every state, there's got to be some company like that. So what I would do personally, if I were you, Deanna, is I would start, I don't know which state you're from, but like if we have the state super group, go to that state super group, and you'll start seeing more and more state super groups within REI USA because we're growing. But, and try to get to those, try to network and see if there's a company that will do that for you, right? Because in Georgia, we have companies that will go down to the courthouse and pull the lease for you too. And you could just pay somebody to do that.
Yeah. Or go down there yourself. That's actually, I was just thinking, that's how we found the first guy. We went down there to pull them ourselves and ran into the guy that was doing it and was like, hey, since you're doing this already, like, can we just pay you to do it? And he was like, sure. And I guess he realized it was a viable business because he's built up a list of clients here in town. And then he ended up going to work, I think, for a company that does it. So probably the same kind of thing. Yeah. But you can find the people that are actually pulling the list and maybe connect with them there at the courthouse.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because you're not the only ones that are looking up those lists. Like attorneys are looking up those lists. I mean, estate companies, that are like, oh, they're dying. Let me just see if I can go sell their furniture or buy their furniture or whatever. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of companies looking at probate lists. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not just us.
Okay. Oh yeah, go into Carrot. I love Carrot. Do you use Carrot?
I do use Carrot.
Okay, so go into Carrot then.
Yeah. I like my Carrot site. I mean, it's easy to use. It was easy to set up. And for me, that's kind of been a set it and forget it sort of thing.
So Carrot is essentially a company that creates websites for investors.
Right.
And then what they do is they also do the SEO and like the back office lead generation as well. So it'll cost money to create this website. And then after you create the website, then it costs money on a monthly basis to get the SEO going. It's not cheap, but they create like really nice websites. And then you just get like leads, they just come to you automatically. More money you spend, the more leads that you get, essentially.
Right. And I will say with that, like before, so I had a lead propeller site before, and which was good also. It was a great site. But I had to throw extra money at that for SEO. So I had to spend more money for that. With the Carrot sites, they're already optimized. So even if you didn't throw extra money at it, it would be, you would still, but just understand with a website, you're not going to gain traction right out of the gate. I feel like I need to say that because I've got a background in this. You're not going to get a ton of traffic right away with your website unless you throw a ton of money at it. And it's really not necessary. I always tell people to just, whatever marketing you're doing, just add the website to it, piggyback the website onto it. If you're doing direct mail, put it on your mail pieces, put it on your door hangers, put it on your business card, like just put it everywhere. And that doesn't cost you anything extra to do that, to drive traffic to your website. So that's a cheap, easy way without throwing SEO dollars or PPC marketing at it, just to be able to generate traffic to your site.
Yeah. And so, and also, so REI USA is a partner with Carrot. So you can go into the members portal, and then there's a partner section, and guess what? Carrot is there. And there's like, you just click on it and they'll give you like a demo. It's like a demo webinar, kind of goes into the whole thing. Like, so people are asking, what is Carrot? Carrot is not like RealFlow. Carrot's different than RealFlow. RealFlow is like a CRM, and Carrot is like it's a lead generating website is what it is.
It's only websites.
It's only website. Yeah. So
Only
I highly recommend if you're interested. And actually there's two different types of, like, there's really like three different types of marketing. And Melissa knows this. There's free, which is kind of the stuff that she went into, like, Craigslist and stuff like that. And then you have direct mail marketing. And then you have online marketing. Those are the three types of marketing, right? And the online marketing would be something like Carrot, right? Really kind of like, you could do like Facebook ads, but so much easier to just do Carrot, I think. And that's kind of the three different types. And actually that's exactly what I just taught in the 7 critical steps. In the one that I just did this past week on Wednesday, I did like all the marketing strategies and when I did that. So that'd be a great, like, watch that one and then do what Melissa's doing essentially. Yes. And then track all that. It would be kind of a good pair right there.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. What is a good CRM for investors? Do you use a CRM?
I do. And I know a lot of people that have created CRM systems too.
Yeah.
I can definitely speak to this.
I remember back in the day, there was no CRM.
Like, oh no, there was no CRM. It was a notepad and a notebook for us for a long time.
It was an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Well, we started, actually, so my ex-husband and I, we started a software company because we needed a CRM system and there wasn't one out there. So we started, it's called REI Mobile. That was our initial product. Cool. That later turned into FlipPilot. But that was a good system. I actually kind of miss it now. But
that's because you created it for your business.
Yeah, it was literally built based on a need that we had in our business. So now promote his stuff because I still believe in him and what he's doing, and it's good stuff. But he is creating FlipPilot, so that's a good CRM system. I use Beast Mode. So it's a Podio based CRM system overlaid with a special, like, it's overlaid with special things that are exactly for people who do what we do. So Podio is just like a very general management system. But then when you lay the real estate part on it, on top of that, it makes it very specific to what we do as real estate investors. So we track all of our leads in there, all of our follow-ups in there. All of our deal analyzing is in there. Every lead that is being worked is in that system, like viable leads. So it's not just like prospects. I keep my prospects separate. So I keep all my prospects in PropStream, which is another great tool. So PropStream is not a CRM system. It's more of like a list and data management system. So it's really great for that. And I love it. It's a tool I use all the time, like almost every day. But the CRM system like manages all my active leads. So make sure that you just understand the difference between that. But Beast Mode's great. I know Don Ross personally, like, have helped him create some special things for us too, to use in our business. It's been really helpful.
Yeah.
and Flipify is good. And then Stephanie Betters just came out with another CRM system based on Salesforce.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So
Supposed to be pretty good too.
And Podio, if you don't know what Podio is, I mean, essentially go to Mike's wholesaling course. Okay. Cause you have that as a free course under courses in the members portal. And Mike, he teaches you how to manage your wholesaling business with Podio, because he does the same thing as well. So that'd probably be a good step if you're like, okay, what is she talking about? Right. Because that's like, you're really that's how you're basically setting up your business to be an online business is what it is, to be managed online. So that's what she's talking about. So I would go to the wholesaling course, and I think it's probably one of the first couple of modules that he does is like setting up your business in Podio. Okay. If you're interested in doing that. And then there's also go to the partner section, because there's other CRMs. There's like FreedomSoft, Flow, REI Pro. There's like 4 or 5 different CRM. So and they all have trial periods. So you could just try them all and be like, okay, which one do I like? Something like that. Because like, I think what or set it up the way that Melissa sets it up, which is like really kind of building everything out so it works for you properly. Right.
Yeah, you can get demos too for all this stuff too. So if you are interested in PropStream, they'll do a demo for you.
Yes.
Beast Mode, Podio, they'll do demos for you, stuff like that. So if you're really interested in one and you're still like on the fence about one or the other, just ask for a demo.
Yeah.
And they should give you one.
Exactly. Yes. Very good. Yes. Okay, good. All right. Any other final questions on marketing? Let's see. Did I miss anything? Did we miss any questions? I don't think so. No, I think we got them all. Wait, one more.
Time for
Okay,
FBI lawyer pleading guilty to falsifying a document enabling the Bureau to spy on a Trump campaign official in 20.
I think that was just.
Wow.
I'm not talking about that.
Not today.
That's done. That's over. I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. There's 2 more questions that came up. Hang on. Okay. Is RealFlow suitable for beginners? RealFlow is like it's very beginner friendly. Yes.
I can't speak to that myself. I haven't used it.
Yeah, I have not. I used to use RealFlow. Like I tried it for like a couple of months, like 10 years ago, but I'm sure it's completely different now. So I'm not 100% sure. But actually, that's a great question to post in the private Facebook group. Right. So start getting into the habit of getting into the Facebook group and saying, who uses RealFlow? Let me know, is it good or not? And then people can chime in and say like, yes, it's good, or no, it sucks, or whatever, or something. Okay. So that's what the private Facebook group is for too, as well, because I don't use a CRM. I'm old school. I use spreadsheets. Melissa, she's got beast mode. I mean, that sounds like just a huge, big thing.
Sometimes you got to go beast mode. Sometimes the spreadsheets just aren't cutting it anymore. The thing I like about that though, really like the thing that the CRM really allows you to do that other things don't is really the follow-up, because we've gotten so many deals. Actually, that the snapshot that I showed you was a little bit older, because I do have, as a marketing channel, I consider now follow-up. And so I'm tracking my follow-up now, and we're getting deals from follow-up.
Do you do that in beast mode, or do you do that like through your spreadsheet? Okay.
Yeah, no. The spreadsheet, the only thing I use the spreadsheet for is just to analyze the numbers, just to have one place with all of that in there. But all the data comes from my CRM system, and it comes from CallRail. So I have to marry the data together to put it into the sheet to be able to analyze it correctly.
Got it.
And my QuickBooks, obviously, because I need the dollar portions of that too tied in.
Yes. Got it. Cool. I love it. I love your topic. And I know this is probably a little bit like, a lot for like some newbies and stuff, but honestly, this is your ultimate goal, is to understand what Melissa is saying as a real estate investor. Okay. There's a couple goals you have as a real estate investor. And one of them is exactly this presentation right here. And then number 2 is you need to be lending your money out, because I mean, essentially all you do when you lend your money out is like nothing, right? I've made my lenders like not millions, but a lot of hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past 10 years. And they literally do nothing. So I always say that, like, your ultimate goal should just be like to lend money out. That's like the laziest way to make money.
It's the best.
You
But I
just
will say this too. I just want to say real quick too to everybody, even if you're a newbie, it's not too early to start tracking your marketing.
Yes.
Please don't think just because you're not doing 100 deals a year or whatever that you don't need to track your marketing. If you're spending money on marketing, you need to be tracking it. It doesn't matter how much or how little that is. Watch it now. Start now. Even if you've only got 4 leads in there, start now. Get in that habit. Like you said, Stacy, like get in the habit of tracking this
It's
stuff.
just a habit. It really is just a habit to start looking at your numbers. Like everybody in my coach, all my students, we have a KPI sheet. We look at the numbers and we discuss it. What are your numbers? You have to do that. Yeah. So I totally agree.
Very important.
Yes, cool. Awesome. Well, I had a great time today. We did so many awesome presentations. So hopefully you guys had an awesome time, got some good stuff out of it.